Now, I can't help it that I'm custom made. I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long. I can't help it that I'm the greatest wrestler alive today.
Got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big cheer. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me import and wear tie up tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Me fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face.
Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, execo the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza.
Witness my majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome into CobraCast 199. I am your host, Jeremy Prime, Mage IDOT of Unit 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Saturday for the second time, but the third stream today. And yeah, I want to get caught up on a lot of the stuff that, we missed because I did about a 4-hour stream earlier. A lot has happened since then. We're going to catch up on all of that. But this is the current state of Minnesota right here. You see it. You see it. And that is it right there. I'm an observer, bro. I'll literally die for you, bro. Lol, I hate you. Give me money. This is it right here. Monica says, thanks for the current events update. You are welcome. Harley Dave for 20 says, my channel is under Somali attack tax. Bro, that's a good one right there. That's a damn good one. Hail to you, Harley Dave. But yeah, so we're going to catch up on it. But I have great news for all of you. I have great news. And listen, this is the first time I'm going to ever ask you to, you don't have to send super chats when I share this information with you. I know you're going to be excited. I know you're going to love the information because we've been waiting for this. But I'm just saying you don't have to, okay? But the game has changed. And this is why I went live tonight. I went live so I could share. No, I didn't say not today, just for this moment, this news story, because you're going to be so excited, cheering and screaming and going crazy because you would have never expected the news that I'm going to share with you. It's everything you've ever asked for. It's everything you've ever, this is what you voted for. Ladies and gentlemen, Pam Bondi has sent Tim Walz a very strong letter. Let the celebration begin, everyone. Let the celebration begin. Pam Bondi has sent Tim Walz a very strong letter. You guys doubted Pam Bondi, okay? You guys doubted her. But look who stepped up to the plate. You kept saying a woman in a position of power can't do anything. You kept saying this woman is completely emotional. This woman's not doing her job. And she said, I hear your concerns. And I'm going to do my job. I'm going to send a strongly worded letter. How out of touch with reality can you fucking be?
Rape, homicide, manslaughter. That's who they're trying to protect in Minnesota. I do not understand these people. We sent Governor Walz a very strong letter today.
She said it. She literally said it. She said the meme. What? I am blown away by this, dude. When I saw people running with this headline, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way. As bad as she has been, there's no way she said that.
I do not understand these people. We sent Governor Walz a very strong letter today. We have been working on this letter. We got it out saying that he better support President Trump. He better support the men and women in law enforcement, because if he doesn't, we are. And that's what we're doing right now.
Were there any consequences in this letter?
Well, we'll see. This is fluid. Let's see how Governor Walz responds. Let's see what he does based on this, based on what's happening right now. But this administration is going to support the citizens. We're going to support our great men and women in law enforcement.
Good God, man. What the fuck is happening? You've got to be kidding me right now. Jeremy Springer for $1. Mike, last name Hunt. He went there to turn himself into a pretty popsicle. Kremlin says, shut up and take my super chat. Andrew CR says, strong worded letter tax. I knew that one was coming. Agent 3141 says, hey, Jeremy, did you see Moist Critical's trash take on the incident? He defends the attacker. Also, hail the 199. I didn't. If there's a Twitter clip that somebody can tag me in that I can react to it, I have not. Listen, man, no bullshit. Like, I genuinely I do enjoy Moist Critical's videos when he's talking about streamer related drama, or maybe he's doing a movie review or something. The moment that Charlie starts talking about real world politics, it is crazy, man. It's almost like how I am like Ben Shapiro. I literally hate everything Ben Shapiro says politically, but I actually like Ben Shapiro's pop culture takes. Shockingly enough, it's the weirdest thing. But no, I haven't seen Moist Criticals, but if somebody can tag me, yes, Jeremy could use the channel boost. Absolutely. Nas says, I'll bet my drink is stronger than her letter. You would be correct. Godzilla's Gracious says, Ryan was right about women. Kevin Spears says, Bondi is the type to toss you off until 3 seconds till completion, then stop and walk away. Harley Dave says, my $10,000 super chat is on her desk. That hurts a little bit. That hurts a little bit deep down inside, Harley. But I also appreciate the memeage. Marmillin says, this useless newscaster moonlighting as our attorney general did what I do. Wrote a tweet to Tim Walz, and I'm a freaking nobody. Seriously. That is 100%. That is on point, Marmillin. This is what she's doing. Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States of America, appointed by President Trump, just did to Tim Walz, who has completely turned his back on his country, and he has created violence. He has created a horrific situation for our first responders. Pam Bondi did exactly the same thing that you and I have the ability to do. Sent a strong tweet to Tim Walz telling him to go fuck himself. And listen, obviously I'm a Trump guy. Obviously I try my best to look at the best situation possible for Trump. This is on Trump at this point. It just is. He appointed her, and he has had her in this position for now over a year. This is on Trump. He needs to get rid of her. Simple as that. And until he gets rid of her, then it falls on him. Now, if you want to look into the Minnesota thing, and I know there's a lot of back and forth about, the Insurrection Act and should he, use it. I think that that's a lot more nuance involved with that. I absolutely do. But I don't think there's any involved with Pam Bondi. She is bad at her job. She is terrible at her job. And she is a liability for the Trump administration, for the midterms, for the United States of America. And that falls on Trump. Mar Millins got that one. Lean back, says Bondi. Okay, that's it. I'm going to count to 5. Yes. Literally, like, this is what women, and no disrespect to the wonderful ladies of the snake pit, but this is what women think. I'm going to count to 5. And if you don't do X, Y, or Z, I'm going to count to 10. And if you don't do it by 10, I'm going to count to 20. And if you don't do it by 20, I'm going to tell your father. That's what Pam Bondi's doing right now. It's crazy. Monica says, did my taxes. Somali owe me. Somalis owe me. Christmas loving engineer for 20 says, I'm trying to sell my house and I'm staying on an air mattress to keep an eye on things while this freeze comes in. If Pam Bondi can send a strong worded letter to this storm so I can go home, that would be great. Yeah, Pam, come on, step up. Send a strongly worded letter to the storm and let the storm know we're going to need you to leave. Harley says, wow, I was about to send you that. Probably the Somali one, probably, Harley, if I'm guessing. First of all, seriously, Christmas loving engineer, hope you're safe. I do have some friends, some IRL friends that are in the storm and they're being prepared and everything like that. And they're used to snowstorms, but they said like this could be bad and it could just blow over. It could just be a nothing thing, but they are preparing for the worst because of the effects that it could go along with it. Gregory for 20 says, thanks for streaming Saturday night. It's hard for the working man. Hey, brother, swig of water for you, the working man. Thank you so much. Poppin' Fresh J for 10 gifted memberships. Let's freaking go. General Duality says, is Marco going to become the AG next? I think Marco's a little busy. I think he's a little busy. Now, look, things have gotten kind of crazy in Minneapolis. Supplies and resources are now surging into, the area. And where's this coming from? Where's this coming from? Who's funding this? Pam Bondi is sending fucking letters, strongly worded letters. Meanwhile, we have, which we all believe George Soros funded, putting supplies out there. Like,
yeah, there's going to be people trying to rouse it up. Yeah. There's one guy over here asking me before, do you think they're going to
why even ask at this point? You are correct. I mean, it is a rhetorical question at this point in time. We know who this is coming from, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating given the circumstances that we're dealing with right now. It's bullshit. It really is. Now, I think I've ran into the same circles as this guy, but Andrew Branca, he did a breakdown of this whole thing, this situation, because there's a lot of questions surrounding the particular incident that happened. There's a lot of questions. I don't think that it's as cut and dry as the situation with Renee Good. As I said that earlier, I think there's a lot more questions involved with this. Arclight says, this is good. Yes, I just saw it. Okay, good. I haven't watched it yet. But yeah, so we'll react to this here in just a minute. But the Renee Good situation was very cut and dry. Now, the lefties still decided to say that she was just a mother trying to get home to her kids. And so this is where their credibility, they have no credibility. Now, we're looking at this and I still stand 100% on the side of law enforcement. If you're looking at the situation, this individual put himself in this situation. This individual decided to get involved with law enforcement doing their job. He created a very, very tense situation. He was armed, and a lot of circumstances played out after that. And nobody really knows exactly what happened, but ultimately, this guy put himself in that situation. And so now we have to get more information and all of that, but I'm going to be on the side of law enforcement. However, what we do know is people like Tim Walz and Jacob Fry and the Democratic leaders in Minnesota are 100% responsible for this behavior. 100% responsible. But let's listen to him break this down really quick.
So this is the gun at the scene, the shooter's gun. And I'm familiar with this gun. This is a SIG 320. Gosh, what do they call it? The AXG, I think. Yeah, AXG. The SIG 320 AXG Combat. You can see it has a threaded barrel, just like the suspect's gun. This image is from the SIG website, so it doesn't have the optional optic on it, which this guy has, which, by the way, is a SIG optic, a Romeo 2 optic, 9mm pistol, high capacity. This magazine might be the 20 or 21 round magazine, the way it's extending from the gun. This is not an inexpensive firearm. This gun, just the gun without the optics, sells for anywhere between $1,000 and $1,200 retail.
Now, I did see this tweet right here because I saw it because Donut Operator responded to it. Great job starting the Civil War, guys. Tagged them. Donut says this might actually be accurate because there is some speculation based on the footage that we have that they did disarm this guy. There's speculation that they did disarm this guy, but these guns are infamous for firing themselves. Some people are like they're 120% accurate. And so let's hear his breakdown.
And
what up,
the
Keenan?
optic that's on the shooter's gun is typically another $500 or $600. So we're pushing a couple $1,000s worth of the pistol here, which is not a small amount of money on the gun. Now I'm going to mention, because someone's going to mention,
Did the SIG misfire? Again, that's what a lot of the speculation is that they again, I don't know this for sure because there is a lot of, there's a lot of opinions on this with the video that we have, but one of the popular theories is that agents actually did disarm him of his gun. I know the volume's really low. There's nothing I could do with it, but at least it has subtitles on it. But the theory is that they did disarm him, but right after they disarmed him, that the gun went off. And so, and then that's when the agents responded themselves.
mention it. Like it or not, SIG 320s have developed a reputation, deserved or not, of unintentional discharges, meaning if they're dropped, sometimes they go off when they're not supposed to. They're supposed to be drop safe, but there's been lots of press coverage and lawsuits about people like just putting a primer in the gun and dropping it. The primer goes off. That's not supposed to happen. There's been lots of lawsuits where people say, I bumped the gun in the holster and it just went off and shot me in the leg, that kind of stuff. In this case, it's beginning to look, at least initially, as if one of the ICE guys perceived the gun on the suspect, this gun, and took it off his person and was turning away, walking away with the gun to secure it from the suspect. But what might have happened, remember, there's a whole bunch of officers involved. They're not all, Ethernet cable to each other's brains. They're all seeing different things. And one officer might have seen the gun and said the word gun. And that might have triggered that first shot.
Or all of these fucking retards that are standing out there blowing whistles with the intent to hurt communication for law enforcement absolutely created a very, very tough situation for law enforcement to communicate in a highly stressful moment. That's on Tim Walz. That's on Jacob Fry. And that's on all of these clowns that are going out there and doing it.
Shot by an officer, and then all the other officers begin shooting in response to that initial discharge. That does not make the shooting unlawful. It would be an awful but lawful shooting. So what's required for the shooting to be lawful? The officers have to have a reasonable perception of an imminent threat of unlawful deadly force harm. That's it. If the answer to that is yes, this is a lawful shoot. They're struggling with this gun. If they perceive this guy as being non-compliant with arrest, fighting with officers, as reaching for a weapon, they will have reasonably perceived an imminent threat of unlawful deadly force harm.
Black Conservative has a great video too. I actually have his video pulled up, at least one of them. Whether it's the one you're talking about or not, I don't know, but I do have his video pulled up.
Justifying their use of deadly defensive force. And their perception does not have to be correct. Their perception has to be reasonable. We're not required to make perfect decisions in self-defense. Police too. We're required to make reasonable decisions in self-defense. If an officer heard a fellow officer shout gun, and officers are allowed to rely on the expertise of training on their fellow officers, they don't personally need to see the threat themselves. If another officer with whom they're working in that event shouts out that the triggering event has been observed by a fellow officer, that's enough.
This is just so simple because, like, okay, hypothetically speaking, okay, we voted in November. We voted in a landslide for President Trump to deploy ICE agents, border agents, whoever, to get illegal immigration out of this country. We did that in a landslide. Okay? President Trump is now the commander-in-chief. President Trump and the people that, work directly for him are carrying out orders that President Trump has given them based on the mandate that the American people gave President Trump. Now, we've established that. So these ICE agents are there based on the will of the people from our commander-in-chief that we voted for. Now, that doesn't mean that they can just do whatever they want, but they are there because we, the people, voted for them to be there. Now, once they are there, they do have to do the job that they were sent there to do. Now, in a hypothetical sense, let's say that this guy was standing across the street and he was protesting and he was saying a lot of bad things about these officers. And let's say an officer, unprompted from anything physical or direct threat, just walks across the street and blows this guy's head off. That officer should be held accountable and, go and have the full extent of the law deal with him. That ain't what happened. What happened was those officers were there doing the job that the American people wanted them to do. Our commander-in-chief sent them to do that. They were investigating an illegal immigrant, and this guy got involved with their operation. Anything that happens after that, I have no sympathy for him whatsoever. You made your decision. You got involved with law enforcement doing their job, and now you're dead because of it. I have no sympathy for that. None.
For another officer to resort to the use of deadly defensive force, they're allowed to rely on their reasonable perceptions of the other officer's communications and conduct. Happens all the time because everyone knows the officers have different perspectives or seeing different things at any given time. Every officer does not personally need to see the threat. He has to have a reasonable belief that the threat is present. That can be based on a reliance of what other officers communicate to him. So if one officer shouts gun, all the other officers are going to be prepared to, and some of them will shoot, as appears to be what happened here. When you get in a physical brawl with a bunch of armed law enforcement officers and you have a gun on your person, you're running a serious risk of getting fatally shot in the course of that confrontation. The moment they see that gun, they've reasonably perceived an imminent threat of deadly, unlawful force against them, and they'll justifiably respond with deadly defensive force. By the way, it's not uncommon for police officers to shoot other police officers, like two plainclothes police officers respond to a scene of violence, see each other with guns in hand, and one shoots the other. And it's a justified shooting because the shooter, although he wasn't actually shooting a criminal and that other person was a fellow police officer unknown to him, was not actually a deadly force threat to him. He was reasonably perceived, given the circumstances, as an imminent, unlawful threat of deadly force harm, and therefore it was justified to use deadly defensive force.
That was a really good breakdown of it from someone who actually is, educated on this, unlike me, who's a complete retard. And so this is like, nobody is happy that this happened, but I'm also not going to, I'm not going to be sad over an idiot that put himself in that situation. And what we've heard from the left more times than I can count is that Black people are being killed by police officers, and it never happens to a white person. Well, we've had 2 white people that have died in the past couple of weeks in Minnesota, and none of us give a fuck because they were breaking the law. They were simply breaking the law, and we don't have any sympathy. Yet some crackhead drug dealer Black dude gets in the same situation, and these idiots go and burn the fucking, city to the ground over a criminal. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. It really is. 1992 Space Movie says, I remember that Crowder made some episodes about SIG and how it hurt cops when it misfired while holstered. There's already lawsuits against them already. I'm not a huge gun person. I own some guns, but I'm not an expert or anything like that. But this is a huge issue. If it's that big of a problem, that's crazy. I don't even understand how this is not a bigger story. And it seems like a lot of people share this concern with this manufacturer. So a strongly worded letter for $1. Thank you. Grindo Drum says, let Walmart know they need chicken. 199 rules. Is it Eoden says, I live about an hour north of Minneapolis. Funny how we aren't seeing any of this insanity up here. It's like all the crazies went south to fight. That's a question that I asked the other day about, like how I know, because we've seen many situations like this. I know that it's not very widespread, but I was curious, like, if you're in the area, how widespread is this? And it's almost like, how, I think everybody can relate to this, but we all, not all of us, but I'd say most of us, we live in a town where you're only a few turns away from having to lock your doors and make sure that you hurry up and get through that area of town. But it's like, you're like, dude, I was just on a nice street. What the hell? I take 2 turns and suddenly I'm about to get shot. And you're like, how is that possible? It's crazy how quickly it can devolve. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that's what this is like. But that's how it is. Let's see. I know you guys, what is this right here? Seeing if somebody can tag me. I've seen if anybody tagged me in the Moist Critical Take. I don't see anybody tagging me in that yet. So I'll keep looking for that. Pliska McReady says he was an observer and then became an very active participant. In short, he FA'd and then FO'd. He is the single person responsible for what happened to him. Individual responsibility, 1000%. This is what happened. This is not complicated in any way, shape, or form. What happened to personal responsibility? My goodness. You just mad for 10 says, my girlfriend is a lefty and she thinks Luigi is hot and she believes what he did. Should I break up with her? There's some important questions we have to ask with these, okay? The first question is, how hot is she? We have to establish this right now. How hot is she? These are important questions that we need to know, okay? So, we gotta know. We gotta know. These are important questions, all right? I mean, generally, yes, the answer is, but if she's hot, we can deal with a little bit, okay? We can deal with a little bit. So Doug Diggs says, frock the YouTube censors and double frock Tim Walz. I know Harley Dave was mad about that earlier. Don't get Harley riled up, okay? Don't get Harley riled up, because he'll have a lot to say. But I saw him upset with the YouTube censors a little bit earlier. Now I saw, I think I can react to this. All right, apparently this is a new angle, okay? New footage shows another angle of the federal agent involved shooting that killed 37-year-old Alex Jeffrey Pretty in Minneapolis, captured from a driver. Little loud.
Whoa!
Okay, I want to slow-mo this, actually. How long is this video? 34 seconds. Let's slow this down. Okay, let's slow this down. Let's mute it, okay? So this is when the federal agent pushed the woman, okay, that was getting up in his face, okay? Pushes the woman, okay? Then here's the guy. He's getting pepper sprayed right now. Okay, he's getting pepper sprayed. Reaches down. This is where, and again, I don't think we're going to be able to see a whole lot. Black Conservative Perspective has the footage. You covered him recently. Yeah. I like that guy. I like him. He's great. So we'll look at his video here in a minute. So he's reaching down. This is where it appeared that he grabbed her and started to choke her. I don't know if that's what he was doing, but that's what it appeared that he was doing in that moment. Okay. Now, clearly, they're not looking, and this is where it goes into, like, if, again, we're not having a conversation with level-headed people, because the people that are retarded enough to believe that they just killed this guy, they're pepper spraying this guy for a reason. They're pepper spraying it for him for a reason, because they're trying to get him under control. Grabs him. He still holds. So, dude, he looks like he's choking this woman. And I don't understand that, outside of the fact that maybe he thinks that these are, maybe he thinks that that is the one of the agents, but I don't understand why he's choking that woman at all. And regardless of what the circumstances are of him choking that woman, the agents have to respond. He's not choking her. I mean, I don't know what else he's supposed to, what is he doing if he's not choking her? That's a genuine question. He's focused on the backpack. He's pulling her away by the coat. He's not choking her. I don't know if I get that. I understand that that's a different perspective. That, and again, I'm not telling you that I know for a fact what he's doing, but why is he doing that? Yes, look at the second angle. Okay, we'll watch another angle. But I 100%, I'm not telling you I know for a fact. We're all speculating on this. But she was already on the ground, so why would he pick her up to pull her away when he's pulling her towards the agents? These are just questions. He's assisting her with hands around her neck. Okay, so the agents pull him off of her. And now the struggle. You make it sound like you're an expert. Well, I'm not an expert, but I am from Alabama. So I've seen my fair share of men assaulting women in my day, being from Alabama. sometimes she won't shut the fuck up and the family members get involved and you're like, Uncle Eddie, you don't have to hit Becky Sue. But he's like, shut the fuck up, boy. And I'm like, yes, sir. Sorry. Anyway. Yeah, so we don't have a whole lot here. This isn't giving us much. This is not giving us much. Let's put it to regular speed. Back this up a hair.
Holy shit! Oh my god! Oh!
So that's all we have on that. So that is it's a different angle. It's not very clear, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Jason 450 says, I can't read how unpopular ICE is. All I see are left crazies freaking out. But what about the normies? We need ICE to do this to undo the open border damage from Biden. Do normies not have the stomach for this? Will they go back to voting Dems? So it's weird because I think most Americans don't give a fuck about ICE. But then you see the left kind of go anti-ICE, and that makes a lot of people, conservative people that generally wouldn't care about ICE, go and say, we're going to support ICE. We're going to stand with ICE because you idiots are overreacting so much that we're going to stand with ICE. Now, so and those are more like, Trump supporters, MAGA people, conservatives, whatever. There's going to be people in the middle that I think that when you have people in the middle, I think you're dealing with slim margins at that point in time. So you're going to show this information to people in the middle, normies in the middle. And I feel like you're probably dealing with 55-45. 55% of the people are going to look at this and think this guy put himself in a terrible situation and he was killed. And, we feel bad about that, but he shouldn't have put himself in I think 55% of normies will probably see it that way. 45% are probably going to be like, this is terrible. But I that's just speculation on my part. I have no idea. And so that's kind of where I'm at the same place with you. Is like, it's really hard to read what the normies think about it. Look at that, 10 more gifties. That's 20 gifties so far. Shout out. Thank you so much. Damn. I remember you came in here, you dropped like a big super chat and a bunch of gifties like 2 weeks ago. I remember. I'm not smart, but I remember the people that give me money, okay? Let's see. Pliska McReady says, this is the quote, I had to leave your last stream early because the news conference you were showing was causing me to yell at my TV tax. I appreciate that. Let's see. Airman was ended by a SIG P320 on his desk. Jeez. Give Rubio Bondi's job. Rubio has enough jobs. But I will be open to giving him her job. Absolutely. Okay, let's look up. I don't know if this is. All right, here we go. Black conservative perspective. I'm sure most of you watch him. He has a great channel, Mods. You can drop a link when you get time. But he does an awesome job. And I think this is probably the video most of you were talking about. But let's check out what our boy Greg has to say here.
7-year-old who had a license to carry. Did he brandish a gun? And at what point did law enforcement retrieve the gun and also the magazines from him? Can you offer clarity on
This
where those were
individual
found?
showed up to impede a law enforcement operation and assaulted our officers. They responded according to their training and took action to defend the officer's life and those of the public around him. And I don't know of any peaceful protester that shows up with a gun and ammunition rather than a sign. This is
Boom. And if I'm not mistaken, we heard from his family, the family of this guy. Now they are anti-Trump people, but if I'm wrong, because there's been a lot of stuff out there, but I'm pretty sure this is an accurate quote within reason. I feel like his family said that they don't even know of him. They knew he was a gun owner, but they didn't know of him taking his fully loaded gun out with him. That's what his family said.
is a violent riot when you have someone showing up with weapons and are using them to assault law enforcement officers.
Because video appears to show he's disarmed before shots are fired.
Many of you are saying that airman was not. It wasn't his service weapon. That was fake news. So I just want to put that out there.
So I just want clarity on that. And beyond that, I just want to follow up and ask who within the federal government is leading the criminal investigation, understanding that CBP OPR has opened up an internal investigation. And beyond that, why did federal agents tell Minneapolis Police Department to leave the scene?
We're continuing to follow the exact same protocols that we always have. And so this investigation is ongoing. We're continuing to gather the facts as they unfold throughout that. And we'll do it just like we did under the entire Trump administration and previous administrations. Nothing has changed, and we'll continue to release details as we have them. But I want you to not distract away from the facts of this situation. Our law enforcement officers were there doing a targeted operation against an individual who was in this country illegally and had a criminal conviction for domestic assault with intent to do bodily harm.
I'm so glad that Kristi Noem made a point to reiterate that point, because that is getting lost in all of this. Federal agents dealing with an illegal immigrant who had a criminal record, and this guy got in the middle of that process.
And other convictions as well. This individual went and impeded their law enforcement operations, attacked those officers, had a weapon on him and multiple dozens of rounds of ammunition, wishing to inflict harm on these officers, coming brandishing like that and impeding their work that they were doing. We'll continue to allow. That is a different.
Boy. So we got to continue our coverage of the chaos and drama that is happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay, we have a new liberal that has won a Darn Award here, Mr. Alex Pretty, who was resisting arrest.
New liberal.
After trying to confront Border Patrol agents who were doing their jobs, right? He decided to show up as a legal observer, aka an agent of chaos, was told to move back, did not do so immediately, and ended up getting a confrontation with Border Patrol, in which he ended up losing his life because he was shot and killed due to the fact that he was armed and resisting while armed. Now, there's a lot of speculation about whether or not he was disarmed before the Border Patrol agent shot him. And we now have clear video evidence showing exactly what happened. And I personally believe that this evidence I'm about to show you guys
noted by Mark Vulcan, noted,
closes the door on anybody claiming that this was not justified, right? I think that from a legal perspective, this is 100% justified. And this video right here, this angle right here, I think is the clearest angle. And I'm going to explain to you guys exactly why. So without further ado, let's go ahead and play this clip. Now, keep in mind, all this is happening in seconds. This is now slowed down in slow motion. In the courts, you're not supposed to analyze it this way, right? But I'm going to analyze it and just tell you guys, in your mind, keep in mind that
well, this is the thing too that gets lost in all of this, is that, you know, these people that are doing all of these breakdowns online to try to spin some narrative that the federal authorities were out of line, they're doing this with the perspective of like hindsight and slow-mo video. These agents are acting in real time. For someone that tried to get involved with them doing their job, who ended up with a fully loaded weapon and was not complying.
This is something that happened in split seconds, right? Okay. So watch this. As you can see, they're tussling with the guy. He's resisting. This guy right here apparently is also Border Patrol, right? He's a federal.
And you can hear the whistles going off. Okay. You can hear the whistles going off, which means the cops can't properly communicate with each other.
Officer. The gun is right here, right? His holster's right here. And this officer is basically reaching for the gun to try to disarm him. Okay. At the exact same time that this officer is reaching to try to disarm this guy, this other officer sees the gun, sees the weapon, okay, and he reaches for his weapon, right? So the gun.
I gotta say, this guy said, because earlier I said tag me in the clip. He says, I don't gotta tag you, do the work, loser. You know what? I respect the fuck out of that take. I respect the shit. You're damn right. I'm sitting here getting super chat money, sitting on my ass, not doing shit. You are correct. Who the hell am I to tell you to tag something for me? I should do the fucking work myself. Respect.
That has been identified. At the same time, there's a struggle for the weapon, right? Okay. As this guy is resisting arrest, you can clearly see it. Watch this. This officer right here pulls out the weapon, while at the same time, simultaneously, this officer is gearing up to fire, because at that point he's resisting. They've identified a weapon. He's not fully under control. This is potentially a dangerous threat. And I'm just giving you the perspective from a legal perspective and a law enforcement perspective. At the end of the day, you can morally agree or disagree with it. That's not what this is about. And too many people spend too much time making moral arguments that are irrelevant to the law, right? I'm giving you a legal breakdown of why this is justified, okay? So this guy is pulling away the weapon. At the same time, this agent fires. He fires a weapon. This dude is actively now getting up, trying to get up. Now, keep in mind, they've identified a weapon. In a split second, although it appears as if this guy was disarmed, you have to take a step back and understand from the perspective of a law enforcement officer in that split second situation. They've identified a gun. This guy's actively resisting. He's getting up. It looks as if he is reaching at the same spot that his holster was. Look at him. Look at his posture. Okay? Look at his posture at that moment, right? At this moment, what does a reasonable officer believe about the potential for?
I would just stop and interrupt Greg here, but he's everything he's saying is so perfect. Like, and you're talking to retarded people that are trying to justify the actions of this guy. This is such a level-headed, normal approach to this. That's it.
This guy to use deadly force. They don't know if he has another gun on him or not. They don't know if the gun is even still there, if he's even still armed, right? And I'm going to prove to you guys that they didn't know whether or not he was still armed here in a minute, okay? I'm going to prove to you that they did not know. So we're watching it in slow motion, but keep in mind, this is all in split seconds, right? Take your emotions out of it and analyze it from a legal perspective. He's getting up. His posture is if he's reaching for his holster, right? Maybe he felt the gun was taken. Maybe that's why he was reaching for it. I don't know. But agents don't know either. They don't know. That's the whole point. And they don't have to take the risk of potentially being shot or him.
Okay, and he responded to that super chat. And it cost an innocent man his life because these untrained thugs. Okay, I did give you respect. You are super gay now. You are super retarded, and no one respects you anymore. All right, cancel that one out.
Getting access to his weapon because they don't know if he's still armed or not. They have no clue. But they have identified that at some point during this exchange, he was armed. He's an armed individual. So for all they know, maybe he has another weapon. Maybe he's still armed. They don't know. But they do know that at one point he was armed, right? That he had a gun. A gun was identified.
And they already had to pepper spray him because he was out of control. And again, this all happens so fast. This happens within seconds. All of this happens within seconds. Not to mention, you're surrounded by, I don't know how many people are out there, 50, 100, I have no idea. But you are surrounded by a bunch of people that hate every single one of these officers. And they're blowing whistles, they're screaming, they're creating hell all over the place. This situation was completely avoided. It could have been avoided by one person and one person only. The guy that ended up getting shot. He could have kept his nose out of their business. He decided to get involved. He decided to put them in a situation where they felt they needed to contain him. He continued to resist. He got pepper sprayed. He had a gun on him. He is dead now.
And because he kept resisting, then, again, legally speaking, an officer can reasonably believe, hey, this guy is still a deadly threat, right? He can still use deadly force. And at that point, deadly force is justified. Now, here's the back angle of this interaction. This is from the back. As you can see, look at that hand right there. That's what a holster was, right? So again, from the perspective of law enforcement, and again, I'm about to show you in a minute, they don't know if the gun is still there, even though it appears as if he was disarmed. And then he reaches back at the same place that the firearm was identified, okay? So I just want people to understand that. It looks as if he's reaching back. Check out this angle. Watch this. Boom. You see this? This guy took the gun. He took the gun, but they didn't know that he was unarmed, right? Or that he was disarmed. They didn't know. Keep that in mind. You got to understand. What was the perspective of the officers at the time? That's how you have to analyze it.
No, Greg, that is not how you analyze this, Greg. You are supposed to analyze this after the fact with slow motion video, and you're supposed to have sympathy for the criminal who fucked around and found out. What is all this nonsense, Greg? Talking about we're supposed to give the officers the benefit of the doubt because they were, there to do a job that the American people voted for them to go do, and they were sent there by their commander in chief. What a crazy idea from Greg over at Black Conservative Perspective. A lot of sarcasm there, obviously.
But they didn't know that the gun had been disarmed. They didn't know. And I'm about to prove to you guys that they, in fact, did not know. Okay, the next video I'm about to show you guys is what they said after the suspect had been shot. Okay, as he's on the sidewalk, he shot, is over. Listen to what they say. Listen to this. Where's the gun? Where's the gun? So, in the court of law, right, this video is basically going to justify this shoot. I'm telling you that right now. Again, people can be upset about it. They can be mad about it. But it's going to justify the shoot because the officers clearly did not know that he had been disarmed, right? Though, where's the gun actually strengthens the idea that the officers did not know that he was disarmed. For all they knew, he was still armed because a gun had been identified at the time, right? So from their perspective, he's still a potentially deadly threat, okay?
It's so sad that we have to make these points that are very level-headed, common sense approach points. But we're dealing with people that when the Renee Good situation happened, I'll just keep repeating it because it needs to be repeated. Renee Good literally tried to run over an ICE agent, and they decided she was just a mom trying to go home to her family, and they murdered her. These are the people we're dealing with. So you have to break this down like they are children. You have to talk to them like they are children. And it still doesn't work because they are, in fact, children. So they already believe what they're going to believe. And now you guys got Jess pissed off in the chat for spamming. Jess is pissed.
from their perspective, not from the perspective of us watching in hindsight, okay? Not from our perspective, but from the perspective of those who were there at the time. In that split second, gun. At the same time, dude is disarming him, right? And the shots ring out a split second later. It all happened at the same time. They clearly think that, hey, he's still a deadly threat. And what matters in court is their perception. Do they have a reasonable belief that he was still a deadly threat? The answer to that question is yes. Why? Because they identified the gun. They didn't know that he was disarmed. Again, split second. He tried to get up. He was still resisting. He reached back. Boom. That's when they kept shooting him. So, yeah, I mean, that's...
I don't know how many times we've seen situations like this. And we only hear... This is where these people... And by the way, I want to go back to this 20 really quick. But yeah, this isn't the NFL. They can't throw a red flag and get a booth review to overturn a call based on inches and milliseconds. 100%. By the way, we got games tomorrow. Looking forward to watching football tomorrow. Half the chat are going to tell me to go fuck myself because I said that, but I'm looking forward to it. Okay. I'm a football fan, but that is true. But it's just like, it's how many people are so controlled by the media and the narrative. Do you know how many police officer involved shootings happen every day, every week, every month, every year? Like, look up the statistics. There's a ton. We only hear about them when the left and the media want to build a narrative about it. That's the only time we hear about it. It's the only fucking time we hear about it. Not like this, says Gino. Yes, Gino, just like this. Just like this. Shit happens like this every fucking day, everywhere. You don't get told about it because they don't need you to get emotional about it because they don't need to build a fucking narrative about it. It happens all the fucking time. Average 11 a day in 2025, mostly over weekends. So average, is that correct? Let me look that up. How many police involved shootings? Let's see, per day. Or let's just do in 2025. So yeah, how many police involved shootings in 2025? Let's see here. Yeah, I think I looked this up not too long ago. So police killings surpassed 1,000 in 2025. Killings reached 1,000 for the 12th year in a row. Now, I'm not a smart man, but 1,000 per day, I think that's at least 3 per day. So, but you don't hear about it unless they need to fucking build a narrative. Do you think all of these shootings, Gino, whoever the fuck you are, do you think all of these shootings are really wonderful and sweet and everything just worked out perfectly and there was no tense situation and there was no screaming, there was no upset family, there was nothing wrong in all of these? Only this situation in Minneapolis, that's the only one that was a problem. All the other killings, there was no issue. It was cut and dry. There was nothing to be debated. It was really simple. Nobody was upset. Everybody just accepted the results of every other fucking killing, except for this one in Minnesota. Oh, that's the bad one. That's the one that there's questions surrounding. What a fucking retard you are.
Basically it. I mean, I'm telling you, they can investigate it all they want, right? But I'm telling you, the officer who shot this guy is going to get off. It's going to be justified legally. 100%. 100%. 100%. I mean, clearly on video, they didn't know that he was disarmed. At one point, they did identify a firearm, right? The gun was there. He was armed. He was resisting arrest, attempting to get up while being armed. while being disarmed by another agent at the same time. Simultaneously, this was happening at the same time, split second. The other agent shot him as he was attempting to get up, right? Because he was resisting. So I personally think that this angle that I showed you guys, this right here, yeah, I mean, it's not good for the suspect. It's not good for the narrative from the media. But the problem is that they're not going to give you the legal perspective. They're going to give you the moral perspective. I'm not interested in moral perspective. The moral perspective is irrelevant to me.
And they're also not going to tell you why he was there. They're not going to tell you what he was doing and what he was interrupting. They're not going to tell you any of that. They're not going to tell you any of it. You guys are saying James O'Keefe has a video. We'll check that one out here in a minute.
Why is the moral perspective irrelevant to me? It's irrelevant because legally, we know how use of force works. It is not smart.
Babo Yogi says, you just got a shout out from Good Logic and Andrew Bronco. That's awesome, man. Hell yeah. Those guys are cool. So appreciate them. I don't know. I feel like I was on a stream one time with Good Logic. Maybe, but it was a long time ago. Feel like I might have been on one with Valiant Renegade, maybe, but it's been so long. But either way, I'm familiar with both those guys, so that's good stuff. So appreciate them.
If you understand how use of force works to do what this guy did, it is not smart to confront federal agents who are armed while you're armed and to get in a confrontation with them and then resist arrest. That's not a smart thing to do. You're giving them, legally speaking, more reasons for justified use of force when you do that.
Yes.
And if we spent more time.
Hey, first of all, I need to address something in the chat. He says, wow, this stream is fucked by. This must be your first time here. Let me tell you. It doesn't get any better. So you're probably best getting out now because it's not going to get better. In fact, you're making a great decision, man. There's 3,000 people right now that wish they would have made the same decision a long time ago. So good job.
Lecturing these people on why you should not do this and why this is stupid and stop making excuses for the stupid behavior, then you would see less of it.
Correct.
But as long as these people continue to make excuses for this type of behavior, as long as they try to justify this type of behavior, you're going to continue to see it. And that's the unfortunate reality about all this. That is the unfortunate reality. The people that are going to be the most upset are the same ones that are going to turn around and encourage the same type of behavior that led up to this in the first place. If you actually care about your comrades, if you care about their lives, stop putting batteries in their backs. Stop telling them to do this. Stop sacrificing them. I don't sacrifice people I care about, right?
Greg is one, like Greg does multiple uploads per day. You guys, he's almost about to hit 1 million subscribers too, by the way. So a big shout out to Black Conservative Perspective. He really does great takes and he breaks things down very, very well. Most of you have been watching him for a long time, obviously. But yeah, definitely go check him out. If you have not, mods will be dropping links. And my super chats have not been heard. I'm getting to them. I promise I will get to them. But he does great work. There's Jessica dropping a link to his channel and he's good peeps indeed. Okay. So we're going to look up what you got James O'Keefe, I guess. So I'll see what he has to say about this. Jesse MacArthur with 5 get the memberships and also $20 says, truthfully, I think this was a mistake, but it is much more likely to happen if these stupid anti-American riots are allowed and supported by state government. This is the result of parents who don't discipline their kids. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into why this happened and how this happened, but I mean, ultimately, the responsibility truly lies on the individual that put himself in this situation. He decided to put himself in that situation. And that's the sad reality of it. And there's nothing there. You can't feel sorry for somebody that doesn't want to help themselves. This guy clearly was lost and gone, and he was easily manipulated by the media and the law and the local government there. And so that's all you can do. So is this a video you guys are talking about? Breaking: Minneapolis mob threatens to kill O'Keefe. Ice bottles thrown, followed, and OMG team under attack. Really? Okay. Is this like, so it's just 1:27. So we'll watch it here in just a second. I'm interested to see this one. Uncle Danny says, I got that one. Christmas loving engineer says, yep, one neighborhood over from mine, and all of Ryan Kennel's favorite demographic is there. Joe C says, my older brother lives in New Hope, Minnesota, about 25 minutes outside of Minneapolis. All that chaos is in certain parts of the city and nowhere else. Good to hear. JDT199 says, shout out to my favorite smart tard for discussing every tarded current event and explaining it like you are playing 5D chess on bath salts. It is crazy how many things I cover, whether it's politics, video games, movies, sports, theme parks. It's fucking wild. Not a chance for 10 says, I've seen normies activate and repost the agitprop from the left from this, which they didn't for Renee Good. A bad new pew for normies from what I've seen. I don't agree, but I've seen more GF than RG. Well, I mean, again, it's the Renee Good thing is, I just think is more cut and dry easily. There's going to be a lot more questions, a lot more debate with this, but the same result is a stupid person put themselves in a situation they should have never been in. Fantastic. OG says the Darwin Awards honor those who accidentally remove their own DNA. JDT says all they have to do is not be tarded. Is that it's that simple? Don't be tarded and these things won't happen. It sounds simple. Narco says, I'm a subscriber to Black Conservative Perspective, and none of his videos he has made about any of this has shown up in my algorithm. This is bullshit. The YouTube is fucked right now for various amount of reasons, but I will continue to. There's two main reasons that YouTube is so screwed up for so many people, and that is shorts and AI videos. It has fundamentally changed this platform. It's changed it for the worse, and it's going to continue to get worse, unfortunately. And that is it. Pliskin McReady says, how about the signal groups in Minnesota with police and politicians in the groups and knowledge of the shift changes and helpful documents being shared? Crazy shit. It would be interesting to see that. Let's see. Ads have been crazy as well. I have premium, but I've heard a lot of people just across the board complaining about ads. But I think my theory is that YouTube is trying to push as many people to premium as possible because they are truly trying to compete with Netflix and Amazon. That's where YouTube is. YouTube is competing with Netflix and Amazon, and they want as many paid subscribers as possible on their platform. Coopster says, fuck yourself. Proved you right. You're welcome. What? Okay, let's see. Justified says, no Landman stuck with Jer Lemon. Hail the 199. It does suck that Landman is over, but we'll get a season 3 sooner or later. Me, myself, and I says forehead tax at 2358. First timer. Love you all. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Hail to you. Primarch Vulcan says the story about the airman being killed by the 320 on his desk was complete BS. He was caught in a lie and then later self-deleted. Noted. No PhD Coyote says Johnny Cash made a song about leaving it at home. Bubba Doom says banana and rice tax. Me, myself, and I says this is really an ugly situation. Did he draw a gun or not? First responders or not? First responders and healthcare are workers, so screwed. I think that I don't know if he drew his weapon, but regardless of that, he had a weapon on him and he decided to get involved with police officers doing their job or border patrol doing their job. At that point in time, I don't think the details and the circumstances matter. Once he physically involved himself in the situation, details don't matter anymore. Let's see. Wailing Jennings says, at this point, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong, makes no difference, but it started a wildfire and it's just getting warmed up. That is correct. I saw this before we look at this. So I saw this right here. They're boarding up grocery stores in Minneapolis. The winter of love has started. So the winter of love, they're getting ready.
How you doing, Mikey?
For a bunch of mostly peaceful protesters, why do you need to board up windows for peaceful protesters? Just curious about that. I mean, because I'm from Florida. In Florida, we board up our windows too when a fucking hurricane is coming. Are we under the impression that the hurricane is a mostly peaceful hurricane? Or do we consider the hurricane a killing machine and we need to be prepared for that? Anyway, here we go.
This is James O'Keefe in downtown.
Hang on, let me turn this up. Here we go.
This is James O'Keefe in downtown Minneapolis. We have a team of undercover reporters still inside the mob. I was at the scene of the shooting covering it this morning, and basically we barely got out of there alive. There were a few hundred that surrounded us, started throwing ice bottles at us. A few hit us, hit our vehicle. They were starting to rip off my bulletproof vest. So we got out of there. We were followed, we were tailed, and here we are right now. We just got this message, and it says, we know that you're in Minneapolis. You're with O'Keefe and his crew of Nazis. You're in a white Ford license plate. They actually wrote the license plate down from Florida. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. You have 1 hour to leave or you're dead. We are going to produce our footage, gathering everything we've got from this weekend. We're going to put our report together along with the hidden camera footage that we have. We still have undercover people in the field. Please pray for my team's safety. This is worse than anything I could have possibly imagined. I have security with me, former Marine, and he said that it was worse than overseas, and it was certainly anything worse than I've seen the cartel at the border. We're going to contact law enforcement, DHS, and the FBI, and we're going to try to get out of here safely so we can bring the news to you. Stay tuned for our report coming Tuesday.
Whew. That is insane. Wow. I can't imagine what it's going to look like. I am curious for everybody here. I am curious to understand, like, at this point in time, how do you feel? I'm going to put a poll up, okay? And are you in favor of Trump and the Insurrection Act at this point in time? Do you think Trump needs to go ahead and do it? So starting the poll right there. Insurrection Act. Is it time? Yes or no? Simple as that. Is it time? I think this is going to be very popular for yes. Again, I am very much understanding of, I hate saying both sides because it's such a meme at this point, but I just feel like if Trump gives them the Insurrection Act, it's just going to make everything worse. The problem is, and I say this with all love for my wonderful chat, for very respectable people, really nice people. They don't use bad language. They're very, they don't objectify women. They're very good people, very fine people in the chat. But a lot of people on the internet love the chaos and they want to see the chaos. And I think the Insurrection Act will create a lot of chaos. I think it's going to create a lot. Bush did it. It doesn't really matter that George W. Bush did it. It doesn't matter what anybody has ever done. Donald Trump is different because it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump is different because everything Donald Trump does, they hyperventilate. They foam at the mouth. They lose their minds. It doesn't matter that George W. Bush did it back in the 90s or whatever, or George H.W. Bush, I think, or wasn't it W. Bush that did it? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's Trump. If Trump does it, Trump is a dictator. Trump is literally Hitler. Trump is doing this so that he can murder people. Like, that's the narrative that will be built with this. And so context doesn't matter to these people. Yeah. Back in 97 or 92, I'm sorry, 92. So, I mean, so for him to, for Bush to that context doesn't matter is all I'm saying. This context doesn't matter. Right here, current state of Minnesota. I'm an observer, bro. I'll literally die for you, bro. Lol, I hate you. Give me money. Welcome to Minnesota. Right there. That's the current state as it is. Sadly. Elon Musk retweeted it. So Elon Musk retweeted this. So right there. So Elon's on it. So you guys, I do have, I did what that person said. I did do my own legwork, and I did pull up Moist Critical's video. I don't know if I can sit through 18 minutes of Moist Critical. I really don't. But we're gonna listen to a little bit of Moist Critical's take on this. I am. This is gonna be brutal to get through, probably, but here we go.
My shirt changes. It's not some kind of like crazy, wacky, magic trick from America's Got Talent or anything. I actually filmed this video earlier this morning when the story first broke. It's the killing of Alex Preddy in Minnesota at the hands of border agents. And I made the video, but I was pretty heated, and
you tagged me in a 2 to 3 minute version. You are a hero, Jessica. You're a hero. Okay, here we go. First of all, go follow Jessica. Go follow Jessica right now. She just saved us all a lot of time. Okay, so here we go. Thank you, Jessica. Here we go. Okay.
The agents says gun, and that's when this brain-dead troglodyte pulls out his firearm and starts shooting into Alex while he was still surrounded by his boys, mind you.
Why are you talking like you know this guy? Charlie just said he just shot into Alex. You don't know anything about this guy. Now suddenly you're on a Alex, yeah, we're bros. What? Holy crap. He spoke about him like he knows him.
Says gun, and that's when this brain-dead troglodyte pulls out his firearm and starts shooting into Alex while he was still surrounded by his boys, mind you. This is like the antithesis to all training that agents go through, by the way, to shoot into a suspect while still being surrounded by authorities. You're going to get your own people shot too, by the way, you fucking moron, you unbelievable.
So the agents are the idiots, not the guy that showed up, got involved in a border patrol situation where they were investigating an illegal immigrant who had a record. That guy's not the idiot. The agents that responded are the idiots.
Homunculus. So he immediately starts dumping into Alex because someone said gun. But the gun, from the other angles we can see, had already been taken away from Alex out of his holster. You can see one of the other agents running away with it. But again, he was never brandishing this firearm. And as an American citizen with Second Amendment rights and a law...
Whoa, hold on. So suddenly now, being an American citizen matters? Charlie, can you repeat that for me one more time? Are you implying, are you saying that being an American citizen matters? Whatever could you mean by that, Charlie? So him being an American citizen would imply that if you're here illegally, you shouldn't have the same rights as the American citizen. Correct, Charlie? So if being an American citizen is in fact something we should pay attention to, if the border agents are investigating an illegal immigrant who has a record and the American citizen gets involved with their process, wouldn't that justify action from the agents?
Lawful gun owner by all available information. Citizen was Second
Lawful gun owner.
Amendment rights, and a lawful gun owner by all available information. He was allowed to have that gun on his person. It is not grounds to execute a man because you fucking freaked out and panicked because the guy you were beating and pistol whipping with fucking.
This guy in my chat says, let me correct you right now, okay? He says, you didn't spell it correctly, seriously stretching this shit out. And sir, if you're going to insult me, can you please properly insult me and spell it correctly? It's IDOT. I am not an idiot. I am an IDOT. Spell it correctly. Thank you. Have a good day.
Fucking 5 of your friends happen to be armed. He wasn't using it to try and like shoot anyone here or threaten them. They saw the gun and then this guy just freaked out and murdered him. Shot him multiple times. This is indefensible. Completely indefensible. And the fact that they even took him to the ground in the first place and started beating him, with one guy pistol whipping him, by the way. In other angles, you can see a guy just like pistol whipping him like he's trying to hammer a nail in with his gun. Like, it should have never even been acceptable for that to happen. All Alex Preddy was doing was filming, and then when some civilians started getting pushed...
All he was doing was filming, guys. He was just filming. Renee Good was just trying to get home to her children. She was just trying to get home to her children. He was just filming. He was filming a TikTok video. He was just trying to film a TikTok video. He was just going to put some music behind it. It was going to be funny, guys. It was just a funny TikTok video. It's filming. He's really just filming. I don't know what the problem is. I mean, what's the big deal? He's just filming. Samsung says, Jeremy is seriously stretching my bank account. What an IDOT. See, Samsung knows how to spell it correctly. Thank you, Samsung. I appreciate that. Thank you for properly insulting me. All right, so let's go back. He was just filming. He's just filming a TikTok. He was going to do the Taylor Swift TikTok. Yeah, with the whole, like, her music, and he was just going to make some funny faces. He was just filming. Gosh, how dare they go after this guy just filming?
Trying to hammer a nail in with his gun. Like, it should have never even been acceptable for that to happen. All Alex Preddy was doing was filming, and then when some civilians started getting pushed, he tried to help. And when one got pepper sprayed, he tried to help. From all available angles and evidence and videos here, it seems to be that's all he was doing.
Why are you getting involved in a police situation? He was just trying to help, guys. He was just trying to help. Oh my goodness. Wow. Just trying to help.
He tried to help. And when one got pepper sprayed, he tried to help. From all available angles and evidence and videos here, it seems to be that's all he was doing. He even made an effort to try and show that he's not like a threat or something. Like, he threw his arm in the air, wide open, nothing in his hand or anything. He wasn't fighting back against the officers. He got taken to the ground and then immediately started getting beaten. Like, all because he was fucking filming and trying to help other people around there, it seemed.
Holy fuck. Just filming and trying to help. Oh my goodness.
Beaten. Like, all because he was fucking filming and trying to help other people around there, it seems. This is so fucking sickening. And the freaks that are cheering this on and parading around like this is something to be celebrated are just scum. You're not even American. You're a fucking drone if you actually think this is a good thing. All you care about is just like sucking wiener from the authorities now all of a sudden. You care more about just being on a team than you do thinking for yourself. It's fucking tragic. It is embarrassing. The age.
Oh my God. Well, there's not a lot that I have left to say because Charlie said it all. This guy was just filming and trying to help people, and they just murdered him. He was just filming, trying to help people, and they got the call. I have it on good authority that Trump himself actually made the call, and he's like, that guy that's filming and trying to help, get him gone. How dare he try to help and just film TikTok videos? No, not on my watch. Jeez. I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it was that fucking bad. That was bad. Again, I want to be clear. I do not hate Moist Critical. I actually watch his videos. I'm subscribed to his channel. I've watched him for a long time. When he's not talking politics, I generally like, listening to his takes on things. Not that I agree, but I like Charlie's videos. I do. And that's probably not going to be very popular in my chat right now, but it is what it is. All I can be is honest. I've been subscribed to Moist Critical for a long time. So, but it's just his political takes are unbelievable. And they're so short-sighted. Like he has no ability to think beyond the audience that he has. So like Charlie himself, like right now, I say to this, all these people watching me right now, they're just shitting all over Charlie. Charlie would not say something that his chat would find as unpopular as I just said to my chat. He would not say it. He would absolutely avoid saying something that would be that incredibly unpopular to his chat because he's controlled by his chat. He is not there to give you a level-headed, honest opinion. He's there to tell you what he thinks you want to hear. He is completely captured by his audience. Someone just said it there. He's completely audience captured. And he's got a massive audience, by the way. Massive audience. Like he's one of the biggest creators on the entire platform. But he 100% will not give you a take that he thinks that you're going to be mad at him over. And his chat is full of people that want to hear this take from him. So that's what you're going to get. And he's doing damn well, by the way. So, but that's Moist Critical's take. So, wow. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but it was. Litton for 10 says, I love to see it. I knew the grift couldn't wait as ain't got shit on Jeremy. Love you both. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Cool Bear says, literally, if you don't want to get shot, don't interfere with federal agents while they are performing a restraint. B, resist arrest. C, perform both A and B while armed. These are not complicated. But guys, he was just filming and trying to help. He was just filming and trying to help. Woo! That's something right there. All this horror business is emotional reality meets subjective reality. We waste so much energy on people living in emotional reality that objective reality exists. Brainwashed. The internet has fucked a lot of people up. It really has. Kevin Spears says, AI needs a law that it must be marked AI. It's going to get to the point because some of this AI is like so advanced, and in another 2 to 3 years, we're probably not going to be able to tell what's AI and what's not. Alex Slusher says, deja vu from 2020. Maximus Americus is attacking a law enforcement officer with a gun, whether or not it's brandished is still an aggressive crime. Correct. Prenon Corpse for 10 says, Jeremy Hale, can you please give us a PPP exclaiming, he's gay, he's fat, he's balding, suffer, Jess, suffer. PPP is so fucking funny. When he talks about things and he takes that like serious approach, he's like, he's just sitting there. Look at the quartering. Look at Jer. He doesn't even care. Look look at Hannah Claire. Look at the look on her face. And when he starts talking like that, you're just like, oh man, this is for real. Thank you, Predon Corpse. I appreciate it. Let's see. Nissan 86 says, have we all forgotten how America works? Citizens are at the mercy of the government force at all times. Only after the fact in court are you allowed to defend yourself. Unless you're dead, we're all slaves. I mean, no, I don't agree with that. I agree that we, the people, have general laws and rules that we should follow. And generally speaking, if you're a law-abiding citizen, you don't get shot. However, in a perfect world, maybe everything doesn't, there aren't problems. But in a reality where we live, if you resist arrest, you're going to get shot, probably. So, yeah, I don't agree with that. Predon Corpse with a gift of membership. Thank you. Force Beyond the Tree says, to anyone wanting Donald J. Trump to declare insurrection, remember the events of the Summer of Love. Remember J6. DJT does. He has been surgical with his moves for the midterms. Yeah, I don't know the good. So right now I did a poll in the chat. 83% want the Insurrection Act in the chat. That's a very, very popular choice. For sure, which I assumed it would be. I think Trump is cooking. I think he knows what he's doing. I would like there's a part of me that wants to see the Insurrection Act as well. And listen, as a content creator, as a streamer, I definitely want to see the Insurrection Act. As a content creator, please. You want to talk about my Super Bowl? Come on. But I just don't know I don't know what the fallout will be from that. I really don't. Normal Man says the Insurrection Act should have been invoked after Kirk. Me, Myself, and I says, no, withdraw all federal agents and let them deal with it. So many actual Americans still suffering. No more for head tax. Good Lord. I mean, here's the thing, man. I don't agree with that either. I don't want Trump to withdraw all of the federal agents. I don't. I think that would be giving in to these pussies in Minnesota, the government in Minnesota. I don't want that either. It's a tough game that he's playing right now. Kevin Spears says, always thought Charlie was a monotone loser. Bubba Doom says, moist critical equal spelled like ant, but it ain't. Ronnie West says, what about the agent who got his finger bitten off? So yeah, I need to cover that actually. Let me find that. So there was an agent that got his finger bitten off. And let's see if I can find it. That was happening around the time we were live playing video games earlier. So it's kind of graphic. So I got to be kind of careful showing this. So I enhanced. So right here, what the hell? A DSH agent had part of his finger bitten off by rioters in Minnesota. These people are absolutely sick. Why aren't we reopening the asylums? Now, let me see if I can. I want to find a YouTube friendly version because I don't know if YouTube. It's. Let's see. Hang on.
Border Patrol officers. Individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm.
So a lot of times you got I see people, a lot of the black pillars, and Jeremy just reacts to mainstream shit. Yeah, mofo, because that's the YouTube friendly shit. So yeah, if you want me to go to fucking BitChute and pull up some random stream where they're just dropping the N-word, my channel ain't gonna last long, okay? So, yeah, I stick with mainstream outlets so I can react to them.
Semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held.
And you get to look at Kristi Noem. You're welcome, chat. I didn't even grift it.
Dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement. About hundreds of protesters then showed up at the scene. They began to obstruct and to assault law enforcement officers. We saw objects being thrown at them, including ice and other objects, and a rampant assault began, and even an HSI officer agent's finger was bitten off. Crowd
bitten off. Finger bitten off. Mostly peaceful, though.
Control measures were deployed to bring safety to the public and to law enforcement at the scene. And once again, I want to remind everybody that this situation and this tragedy did not have to happen. Our law enforcement are doing everything that they can to protect the public. We're praying for this deceased loved one's family and friends, but we also recognize that the Minnesota governor and the Minneapolis mayor need to take a long, hard look in the mirror.
Yes,
They need to evaluate their rhetoric, their conversations, and their encouragement of such violence against our citizens and our law enforcement officers. I'll remind you that Governor Walz today in his press conference said that our officers were not even law enforcement, which is a lie. He's called them the Gestapo. He's encouraged residents and citizens and violent rioters to resist. He's doxed their identities, putting themselves and their families' lives in jeopardy. He's refused to turn over murderers to federal law enforcement officers. He's protected illegal criminals and protected them from being brought to justice, and even overseen a historic, unprecedented theft of American taxpayer dollars. Tens of billions of dollars were stolen under his watch, and he allowed it to happen, and in some instances may have even facilitated it. In other cities and states across the country, we don't see this happen. Local, state, and officials work with us to.
This is the point. Like, why is this happening in Minnesota specifically? Why is this happening in Minneapolis specifically? Because of the local leadership. There is something that will always matter until the end of time. Leadership matters. Leadership will always matter. And the leadership in Minneapolis is horrific in every way possible. That's why Minneapolis is going through what they're going through.
Make sure that we're making their streets safer. I'll point to the city of Memphis, which is where there is a Democrat mayor in place. He worked with us and our federal law enforcement officers, and we saw murder rates drop by 50% because of that partnership. We've seen historic lows in the criminal acts that have happened in that city. We've had the same amount of law enforcement officers there, but a very different result because of the leadership in place. Last week, ICE did over 2,000 different operations, and we saw people be brought to justice and the American people made safer because of that work. We don't have this problem in Texas or in Florida because those individuals in those states work with us.
Yes.
And they make sure that they keep peace and calm while they bring criminals to justice. In Minneapolis, Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, they instead choose violence. They instead choose to encourage the destruction of their city and the crime against their people. It appears that they want this lawlessness to continue. It appears that they want chaos to distract from the theft and the fraud and the corruption of their city.
And, sadly, this is going to continue as long as the leadership in Minnesota it allows it. And I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. We do have this right here. So a no ICE zone has been created in Minneapolis. Governor Tim Walz and Mayor Jacob Frey are enabling this. Yes, they are. So there you have it. A no ICE zone. No ICE zone. What are we doing? What are we doing? This is crazy. But, that's Democratic leadership if I've ever seen it. Let's see where we're at here. So we have Minneapolis locals are boarding up their businesses in preparation for a fiery but mostly peaceful protest. Fiery but mostly peaceful. 100% a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, pretty much. Sadly, that's exactly where we are. Thank you, Pre-Dawn Corpse, for at 20. I'll get to you in just a minute. What is this right here? MPD and National Guard appear to be protecting the no ice zone. Minnesota National Guard and MPD are blocking the most cross streets leading to the site of today's shooting, which is now declared a no ice zone. Wow. Are you kidding me? Good Lord. And again, I look at this and every night that I see, like when I'm searching out, like it's always Portland. It's always Portland. That same exact area in Portland. Every single night. It is crazy. And it's the same area and everything. Always Portland. Every single time. By the way, how's the weather out there for a lot of you? Are a lot of you experiencing some of the weather? Because that was the thing I was going to focus in on tonight was the weather. But obviously, things in Minnesota had different plans for us. But how's it going there? I did have this pulled up really quick.
Really in southern portions of Pennsylvania and West Virginia. So this is a complicated setup. We do have a little bit of a dry slot. Maybe that could lower some snow totals for the 95 corridor. Once we go into our Monday, we start to trail off, and by Monday afternoon, we're finally done. We will possibly see some lake effect snow on the backside, so please keep that in mind for folks in Western New York and also parts of Pennsylvania. Here's the ice. And again, I-80 is kind of a good cutoff. If you live south of I-80, you have an opportunity.
Got more ice. Ice is everywhere, baby. Ice is all over the place.
Opportunity to unfortunately have ice with the snow, especially parts of West Virginia and Virginia. I mean, gosh, Richmond could be dealing with several inches of snow, but on top of that, we could have a half an inch of ice. It's going to cause kind of this igloo effect where all of that snow is going to be encased in ice. So it's very important while you can during the day on Sunday, get out and try and do some snow removal. Because if you wait, it's going to be covered in ice and it's going to be really hard to get it off because we stay below freezing for the Northeast all the way through next week.
So there's that. So let's see. Pre-Dawn Corpse says, we're both Southern born and raised, Jeremy. Only difference is that you have 10 channels. You're also gay. I'm not gay. Pre-Dawn Corpse, you're gay as fuck. Pre-Dawn Corpse, you're gay. You just sent me $20 to read your sentence. That's gay. Okay? That's no insult to anybody else. If you send 20, you're not gay. Pre-Dawn Corpse is 100% gay. But that's all. So, Tech the Drifter says they love to pretend to not understand the rules. Olympian Products is just trying to help tax. Bubba Doom says Jeremy might be an IDOT, but he doesn't put sugar in his grits or cornbread. Moist? Yes, he puts sugar in his grits. Let's see. The A-Train says, I can't help but wonder if Charlie made any videos about 15 million illegals Biden let in. Grandis of Potato says, Asmon's evil twin, talking about Charlie. TJ says, obstruction of justice is a crime. Moist Critical is tarded. Ted says, the fucktard locals are 100% supportive of this fiasco, it seems. So just let them completely destroy their own garbage city. What freaking morons. Blowing Up Deluxe says, there is no way I could trust a man who calls himself moist. Woodaman says, what the fuck? You're can I fucking read? What the F? You said chat is your boss. Life is a lie. Well, did you hear how retarded I sounded just then? I went, you. Good Lord. Suffer, Pre-Dawn Corpse. Lydia Mexican says, if you don't want to be shot by law enforcement, follow one simple rule. Stop breaking the law, asshole. Dougie B for $100. $100. Send help. I can't get ICE to leave my property. $100 from Dougie freaking B. Hail to you, brother. Thank you, sir. Drekon199 says, to be fair, Jeremy, you grift because you want to. He grifts because he has to. It's a sad reality. Yeah, I get it. Well, I mean, Charlie doesn't have to do anything anymore. That dude's got enough money to live 100 lifetimes. So, Fran Forsyth says, because you read my non-super chat earlier, Tax. Look at that. That's nice. Tip says that Megyn Kelly's tweet X was hilarious and her own first comment. Let me look at that. Medio Crates says the Russian and Chinese must be shocked at how easy it's been to divide and manipulate the U.S. population. I mean, I feel like we've always been divided. I mean, growing up, when I remember, with like George, Bush and, Ronald Reagan and like all these, elections that we had when I was a kid, and then obviously you got the Bill Clinton stuff, George W. Bush. Remember the whole George W. Bush and Al Gore and the situation in Florida. I don't remember a time in my life when we haven't been divided on politics. I know Ronald Reagan won like 49 states or whatever, but we've always been divided. Social media has basically, I can't remember who said this. Years ago, somebody said this, but social media is like a carnival fun house with all those mirrors. You ever went into those, like if you're at the fair, the local fair, or a carnival or something, you go into those kind of like rooms. It's got all those mirrors and it distorts reality. That's what social media does. It distorts reality. It's not a proper representation of reality. And that's what social media does to us. So I've said this many times. I'll say it again, but when I was a kid growing up, I had no grasp of what was going on literally in the next town, much less all over the world. Every day we wake up and we get on social media, we're hearing about the worst news in the world every minute of the day. We're hearing about everything bad that's going on in the world all day, every day. Were bad things not happening when I was a kid? Yes, of course they were. Bad things were always happening. But my mind wasn't constantly being fed with that stuff and that information like it is now. The world was always fucked up. Bad people have always existed and they've always lived among us and all of that. But now it's like everything is just being hyper focused constantly through social media. And it's just a weird dynamic. And I'm not sure how that affects us into the future, but relating it to me being a collector, like growing up collecting G.I. Joes, video games. And like, I personally can't stand the idea of going onto Amazon or eBay and buying a retro video game that I want or a G.I. Joe figure that I want. I can go buy them and I choose not to because I like to find them in a store. I like the hunt to find them because it's way too easy to have access to everything. And it takes the excitement out of life. It takes the joy out of life. If you can just sit there on your phone, click a button and have it delivered to your door, it sucks, but that's where we're moving, unfortunately. So yeah. Saturn Dreaming of Mercury says per, let's say 18 USC, under federal law, using or carrying a firearm during the commission of a federal crime, such as drug trafficking, robbery, or violent offenses. And guess what? Impeding law enforcement is a crime. Van says, I disagree, Jeremy. I prefer to never leave my house. Hey, I respect it. Okay? I respect it. Thank you, Saturn Dreaming of Mercury. Appreciate it. All this horror business says, it shouldn't be legal for a governor to tell the public federal agents aren't law enforcement. That's inciting horrible results. Fraud district. Fantastic Mr. Knox says, finally Moist isn't being talked about. Had to leave the stream because Moist was making me, who is not an American, lose brain cells seeing what's going on. I hear you on that, bro. Forest Beyond the Tree says, Matt Morris was following another on-site streamer today in Minnesota who was later compromised. The crowd started threatening him on the spot. It was insane. He was legit fearing for his life. Really? Do we know the name of this? Do we know the name of this? I would like to see that if possible. Uh-oh. You just became very, very popular in the chat. Bad things don't happen with Sydney Sweeney. Everybody's reacting to this tweet. Or I'm sorry, the super chat. It's time. It's time for Sydney Sweeney to make an appearance. Everybody's happy. Everybody's excited. Everybody's going crazy. He got banned on Kick for getting into a fight. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? Just curious. Sydney Sweeney in the house. Look at that. Bad things don't happen with Sydney. They never happen. They never have happened. It's never happened. There's no record of it anywhere in the world. Views just went up. A lot of things probably just went up. But there you have it right there. Proper 199. After 10 gifted memberships as well. He got jumped. All right, so who is this Kick streamer you guys are talking about? I'll be back in 5 minutes. Let's see. Who is this Kick streamer? Maybe I can't pull it up. Maybe I shouldn't pull it up. I don't know. His name is Waxiest. Really? All right, let's see here. Let me see if I can look this up. Okay. All right, hold on. I don't know if I can watch this. Oh, sorry, Sydney. You gotta go away, Sydney. We appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hail to you. Two anti-BLM militants pull live streamer Waxiest from his idling car in Minneapolis, maim him as he is inviting carnage into his own camera. Multiple teeth are dislodged and his face is now caked in vital fluids, puffy beyond recognition. Kick platform banned him. I don't think. Oh, Antifa. Sorry, to Antifa BLM. My bad. I don't think I'm going to play this. And Beardo reading skills. I mean, I am retarded, so. But I don't think I want to play this. So this is you guys can pull that tweet up if you want to see it. It's not bad. Happens off camera. Saw it live with Matt. Is Matt's still up? Matt's channel has exploded. He is crushing it. Yes, he is. I can play it. Are you sure? I would rather watch this before I react to it on stream. So, Matt's is still up. Yeah, I'm not going to. I'll play a little bit of it, but that's it.
These guys, bro. Like, I'm just trying to stream. I got these guys fucking with my fucking shit. Oh, okay. All right, what's good? Oh, yeah.
Whoa, yep. We'll stop it right there. Holy crap. Yeah, geez, yeah, dude, that's crazy. Holy shit. Yeah, never open the door. Never open the door. Under any circumstances, open the door. Did he get back in? Holy shit. So why did he get banned? What did he do? Why did they ban him? He got assaulted. You're telling me that he got banned from Kick? I don't understand that.
Super tough. Super tough, bro.
Said he invited the violence. There is a piece of this that really looks like he was enjoying this. There is a piece of that. It looks like he wanted this to happen, and he enjoyed the fact that he could get back into his car and show his chat that he got his ass beat. I will say that. This is not a normal reaction of getting your ass beat. This is kind of like it's this fascination that people have of like every bad moment I need to record or every good moment I need to record. What's that picture of like showing the celebrity taking the selfie of themselves handing the poor person money, and the only way the celebrity is able to hand the poor person money is if they're taking a selfie of themselves so they can show the world that they just did it. So I don't know. I need more specifics on that, but that's a crazy situation right there. 8 o'clock says least gay super chat tax. Look at that. Look at that. He was being stalked. Listen, man, I'm only operating in common sense here. If you're being stalked, don't open the fucking door of your car. If you're being stalked, like that doesn't make any sense. If you're being stalked, don't open your car. Don't have it your camera specifically angled. Like, let me go back to it. I'm not going to play the video, but let me go back to it. Okay. So when this guy is fighting, everything is perfect where the camera can see everything. The camera can see everything. So like in Kick's mind, is this guy setting the whole thing up? And if that's the case, then yeah, that would be a TOS violation. Like right here, as the fight's going on, the camera can see it. So I don't know. I'm judging on a 2-minute clip here. I don't know the context. What I do know is that if he's being stalked, opening your fucking door is the worst idea possible. And that's kind of like if you're being stalked and the stalkers walk up to you and you just like, let me open my door and see what the stalkers want. That's about the level of stupidity that the guy that got killed today had. So no one said he was a genius. This is true. You can't skip through it and say it's not real. You haven't seen it. That's fair point. You kind of got me on that one. I can't even spin my way out of that one. But based on the information I have, I question a lot of it. So, dude staged it. I wouldn't doubt it. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Philip Johnson says gay tax. Cool Bear says, do you think my boy Shreddy has a chance with no? Deathu says ICE is doing a pretty good job. Whiskey Niner says, Fig, you're totally captured by the 199 Snake Pit and the IDOTs. What the F you mean? Stream for us, boy. Hail. Yeah. Let me go ahead and talk about sports and we'll see how audience captured I am, because the whole audience is telling me to go fuck myself when I'm telling them I'm excited for NFL football tomorrow. And half of them are going to be like, fuck you, Jeremy. Can't believe you're supporting the NFL. Well, I am. I'm watching the NFL tomorrow. Zero says, I don't know. I think ICE is doing a pretty good job in Minnesota. Too bad Bondi is Jeff Sessions in heels. Damn, a Jeff Sessions comment. Predon Corpse with a 199 sticker. Predon Corpse with a 99-cent sticker. Forest Beyond the Trees says, look up Matt's 10-hour stream. Started playing at 5:04. I'll check it out later. I do want to watch that clip, and then maybe we'll react to it tomorrow. Defending Truth says Sydney's great, but locals in-word stream win. Eric says reports on Humvees with LRAD mounted. Reichard Zero says, treat every chat like Tim Pool. It ain't going to get read. If it does, hail the King Cobra. F the commies. Don't feel bad when they say I'm a Marine. Hey, man, I try to read every super chat if I possibly can. Force Beyond the Truth says, Matt's stream at 5:04 was of this same guy from earlier in the day before the guy ambushed his car. Wax definitely could have been smarter today. Pre-Don Corp says, Jeremy, any way you can play the G.I. Joe PSA parody for old time's sake. G.I. Joe PSA body massage, 4.6 million views. We'll close out with that. Saturn Dream of Mercury says, honestly, Waxiest does go around undercover starting chants with crowds saying he wants to see if he can get things started. Yeah, just based on what I'm seeing, there's a lot of questions I have about that whole situation, but you know, I guess we'll see. Let's see. No search results for that? Why is there no search results for that? Well, if I could type, typing is important, and learning how to type is very important. So. What am I fucking searching? All right. All right, here's what Pre-Dawn Corpse wants me to watch. Is it body massage? G.I. Joe PSA, 32 seconds. Here we go.
Oh, man, check out that thing, man.
What do you want to do with it?
Let's launch over it.
Who wants a body massage? Only home while we
What did he just say to us?
love. Mr. Body Massage Machine, gone.
What the hell?
Body massage.
G.I. Joe!
The G.I. Joe PSAs. First of all, the real ones are funny as hell. The meme ones are absolutely fantastic. It's so damn good. Checking it out with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you. Checking it out. 10 gifted memberships. And that is going to conclude another. We did 6 hours of Cobra Cast today. 6 hours. Not bad. There's been a lot to talk about. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Not to mention, we did a 2-hour Mario Kart stream. So I've been streaming for a lot today, a lot of streams. Tomorrow is NFL football. It doesn't mean that I won't go live, but tomorrow's NFL football. All right. So the NFC and the AFC championship. My picks are New England. I don't want the Seahawks to win, but I think the Seahawks are going to win. I'm pulling for the Patriots and the Rams, but I think the Seahawks are going to win. We'll see. But with that said, thank you all. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. We're going to be covering all the craziness going on in Minnesota. We've had a lot of people tuning into the channel lately, and I greatly appreciate it. Numbers have been awesome. Also, the main Geeks and Gamers channel. I will be uploading more videos over there. So if you have not subscribed to Geeks and Gamers, make sure you go do that. I might have a video up tonight. I don't know. It depends on, I don't know. Maybe not tonight because I've been streaming all day, but I'll have a video tomorrow, if not tonight. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I hope you have a good evening. Stay safe out there if you're in the winter storm. And we'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone.